Hey there and welcome to Flatbread Friday. I got lots of basil in my garden, and since it's a pizza day and this is my first summer squash. So today we are going to make a pesto veggie pizza, and it's going to be yummy and fresh, and let's do it. Because I have a fondness for roasted garlic and I also have an abundance of it, we're going to make this pesto roasted garlic pesto, and we're using roasted garlic oil as well. So into the food processor goes a bunch of garlic, and I'm going to use some regular garlic too, just a little, to give it a bit of a zip. We're going to season that up with some salt and pepper. We're going to add in some pine nuts. Might as well use them all. Pesto freezes, so even if we don't use all this pesto, we can freeze some for later, for pasta, for dressing, for all kinds of stuff. And next thing we need is some Parmesan cheese. And we're going to give this a few pulses, and then in goes our basil leaves. It's going to take a while to pull off these leaves off these plants, and then we're going to get going. Our basil leaves are in, and interestingly enough, the older batch of basil that I picked has sprouted roots. I like to keep basil in water because it doesn't like to be in the refrigerator. And I'm going to stick these back in the garden. I did that last year and they grew up into plants. So it's going to be a great way to keep the basil coming. In addition to the basil, I also picked a little parsley from the garden, and that's going in as well. Give it a little greenery, a little sort of natural grassiness. And it's very immature, so that's why I'm putting the stems in there. And I was going to put the lemon juice in, but I think we'll chop it up first and then we'll go with the liquids. I let it run for a bit, and now I'm going to scrape down the sides. And we're going to go for a little while longer. It smells amazing. Chopped up pretty well. It's not as green as I'd like it to be, but like I say, it smells really good. It's going to taste really good. I'm going to zip it up with a little tiny bit of lemon juice. And then the top goes on. Maybe, there we go. The feed tube comes off. We're going to turn the machine on and let it run while we slowly pour our oil into the feed tube. And here we go, it's going to get loud. We've reached a pretty nice consistency. A little thick still. We're going to puree it a little more. But we got to scrape down these sides and get everything in so it's in touch with our blades. I love the multi-layered Ninja blades. I think that helps a lot. So let's continue on, and pretty soon our pesto will be done and we can make our pizza. Our pesto is done, and now we're ready to prep the rest of the ingredients and get on with it. I think we're going to call this an early harvest veggie pizza, and our toppings are as follows. We have the summer squash from the garden. I had these Roma tomatoes on hand. I had some red onion on hand, and I also found a just a tiny few of these banana peppers. My banana peppers have not come up yet, so those are out of a jar, but they're gonna add a little zip to our pizza. And I had just a tiny little bit of baby spinach left over, so those are all the veggies that are going on top of our pesto, our roasted garlic pesto pizza. We're using a thin Poppin' Fresh pizza crust. We're gonna par bake it for about 6 to 8 minutes. Our crust is out of the oven, and now it's time for our roasted garlic pesto. Spread it around nice and evenly. And somebody's outside. Our pesto is on, beautiful and green and garlicky, roasted garlicky, cheesy, nutty. And the next thing that's going on, and I hate to do green on green, but this is going to be topped by white, is our spinach that needs to be used. That's the only reason this is going on there, because it's got to go. We're going to spread that around. Next thing that comes on is some shredded mozzarella. You know I like to put dry-upable things and crisp-upable things underneath the cheese to keep them from drying up and crisping up. So we're going to sprinkle that all over. Our cheese is down. The next thing that's going on are our little baby summer squash pieces. Distribute those all around. Next to go on are our diced tomatoes. Got to do color contrast. It's got to be pretty and delicious. And because summer squash and tomatoes are a little bland, we're going to put just a little sprinkle of salt and pepper on these guys. And on come our next topping. Next thing that's going on are our slices of red onion. And I know it's red on red, but these are more purple than red, so not really. Followed by our banana pepper rings. Hopefully it will be pretty soon before I have some fresh ones of these. But like I said, this is going to give this thing a little zing. Okay. Our vegetable toppings are on. Colorful. And they're going to be crunchy. We're going to give it a nice little crust with this 4-cheese Italian blend that I love so much. Provolone, Asiago, Parmesan, Romano. And we're just going to give it a little bit of sharpness because it's shaved. And now we're going into a 425-degree oven for about 15 to 20 minutes, and we'll see what she looks like when she comes out. Our early harvest pesto primavera pizza is out of the oven, and it's colorful and fragrant, and it's gonna taste good, but in order to taste it, we gotta slice it and serve it. Here we have our early harvest pesto pizza primavera, and it's, like I say, colorful, smells great, looks great, and let's give it a taste. I have decided to give it a little extra tang and a little bit of color with a balsamic drizzle. I wasn't sure that the pesto was going to go for that, but it's going to be yummy. Just a little bit of zip and a little bit of color. And here we are again with our little addition. And I've decided, as I mentioned a couple of times, we're going to call this an early harvest pesto primavera pizza. And it's going to be a great Flatbread Friday treat. Thank you for joining me for another edition of Flatbread Friday. I have taken a bite out of this guy and it was so yummy. And have a fabulous Father's Day weekend. We'll see you again soon.